So sometimes in life you hear people complain about they can't do some activity because it's too hard, right? For example, when I was a teenager, I wanted to go to a Fry's Electronics, and I went to a Fry's Electronics, and I was talking with the guy there, and I said, I want to learn how radios work, because I was working on a science fiction novel, and radio communication was an important part of the story, and I wanted to be able to write it realistically. But I just told the guy I want to learn how radios work, and the guy just gave me this very well, good luck with that, and it kind of overwhelmed me, and then I got freaked out and I gave up on it, right? But it's very interesting that in life, certain things are considered easy, some things are considered hard. Different people consider different things to be easier or hard, right? But what is easy? What is hard? What establishes this, right? So there's a piece of wisdom that I got one time, which is whenever you come across any piece of information that doesn't quite make sense to you, you can modify it and turn it into something that does work for you. So I was watching a video of a Kung Fu demonstration one time, and the guy was demonstrating a sword that was a prop from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. So it's the sword was made to look cool, right? But the guy was talking before the demonstration. He said, now it's very impractically designed. You've got the pommel, which is the counterweight at the bottom. You've got your blade here in the handle, and then the counterweight. He said the pommel was so big and so heavy that it felt like, you're fighting with a mop handle, and besides that, it came out so far that it would snag on your wrist. And he said, so a lot of his friends didn't like practicing with that sword. And then he gave kind of a Kung Fu concept. He said, but I just say cultivate more. Now, what does that mean? Cultivate more, in Kung Fu, you're learning to develop your life energy and become stronger, and you can store it and then use it later, right? And so I took that concept and I modified it to make it a broader thing for all of life, which is, if something is too hard to do, just get better at it, right? The difference between how easy or how difficult something is how good you are at it. You take video games, because it's a very common example of something that people practice over and over. The very first time you ever picked up any video game, it was very challenging. But as you keep going through it, you were more and more able to do it. And then finally, by the end of the game, whatever early challenges early in the game there were suddenly easy to you. It's not that the game changed, it's that your level of ability changed, right? So now let's expand that out of the realm of entertainment and into the realm of actual daily living, right? There's this very common joke that people have of oh, I don't want to adult today. Well, why don't they want to adult? Because they never got the skills that they needed to actually engage themselves in normal day-to-day life as a person who's supposed to be responsible. Well, all they have to do is find the things that they're struggling with, work out for themselves what do they need to actually practice and get better at, and then do those practices enough times that these things that were impossible or a pain or whatever suddenly become well, yeah, duh, who doesn't do that? So anyway, there you go.